You probably thought this day would never come, but here you are. Over the last 9 chapters, you have learned why the college admissions essay matters and what the Common App prompts are really asking. You have blazed through the uncommon essay approach, backwards brainstorming, digging around and digging down, snipping, flipping, and filling, and triple editing your way to the final polish. You have mastered how to take down any prompt from the beastly Common App to the supplemental gremlins. You have acquired the tools to dispel essay-related stress and tap into the wisdom of real essay examples. You have partied with dinosaurs and panda bears and eaten roughly 10,000 ice cream cones. You came, you saw, you conquered. You are an essay master. Maybe you're thinking, but College Essay Academy, don't go! I'm not ready yet. You'll be fine, we promise. But we wouldn't leave you without saying goodbye. As a memento of our time together, we leave you with our top 10 college admissions essay do's and don'ts, a series of tips that will help you distill all you've learned in this series so you can stay the course on your path to college essay success. First, let's talk about some things you shouldn't do while writing your college admissions essays. Is doing these things so dangerous they will result in your untimely death? We hope not. But this advice will help you stay focused and avoid some of the most common application essay pitfalls. Don't rule out ideas before you fully explore them. Whether you realize it or not, you are a silo full of rich ideas just waiting to be tapped. You're a treasure chest of golden nuggets begging to be plundered. You're a field of fragrant flowers just waiting to be... You get the point. You have a lot of great ideas. You just need to give yourself time to get them all out of your brain and onto the page where you can assess them, tune them, trade them, move them around, add to them, and admire them. This goes for brainstorming, free writing, and even story sculpting and editing. Give yourself enough time to consider everything on the page before you toss anything. Maybe a topic you came up with isn't perfect, but has the potential to bloom when combined with another half-baked concept. Keep all of the pieces in play until you are positive you no longer need them. And even then, you know there is no such thing as empty trash. Don't try too hard to come up with ideas that are quirky versus authentic. So your life isn't like a bowl of all organic quinoa. Big deal. And who cares if you couldn't figure out how to arrange your story about your science fair volcano accident into a series of meaningful haikus? Admissions officers only value quirk in an essay if it serves a purpose. In fact, they would prefer to get to know the real you, the you who cares about animals and art and found a way to combine those interests. You don't have to be weird, and neither does your essay. You just have to be you. On a related note, don't forget that the essay is about you and no one else. It makes sense that when presented with the challenge of writing an essay about your intangible qualities, you would feel compelled to focus on a person who has influenced your life outlook and philosophy. Maybe your grandmother taught you how to live in the moment as an 80-year-old who still drives and does the tango at her geriatric singles club. Perhaps your father's love of mathematics inspired him to get you involved in robotics projects when you were a kid, which later evolved into one of your greatest passions. Writing about people who have had a great impact on your life is absolutely fair game. Just make sure the main emphasis of the essay is not on the life of your mother or brother or piano teacher, but on the relationship and its effect on you. You can write your grandmother's biography in your college creative writing class. Don't repeat your resume. Admissions officers already have plenty of lists to read. They're scanning your transcript, reviewing your activity resume, and assessing your family background and history. We have said this to you many times, but it bears repeating. The essay needs to reveal something that cannot be gleaned from your transcript or test scores. It is the only chance you will have to speak to admissions directly and in your own voice. So it should push beyond highlighting your academic strengths and after-school activities and dig into the meat of who you are as a human. If you are a varsity soccer player who spends most of your time kicking balls down the field, the instinct to talk about all of your athletic accomplishments is totally natural. But try to push beyond the basic recap. Why are you such a successful soccer player? What does your ability to make a winning play on a sprained ankle say about your level of determination? Where else does this resolve show itself in your life? Reach to define those intangible qualities that make you an interesting person, someone an admissions officer would want to have a conversation with, and let the test scores and resumes speak for themselves. Don't tell admissions what you want them to know. Show them. Are you fun and creative? Are you resilient and kind? Do you have passion for the things you do? The best way to communicate these kinds of qualities is to craft stories that illustrate these points. If you think you're resourceful, maybe you should write about that time you turned a spilled paint accident into an abstract set design for your last school play. What does this story say about your positive attitude and creativity? Leading a reader through events that communicate something about your inner qualities is much more convincing than a mere declaration of your purported strengths. So don't brag. Let your story do the talking instead. And know that describing events and bringing an admissions officer along for one of your proudest moments is much more powerful than blatant self-congratulation. All of that said, don't sell yourself short. You might be one of those people who looks around at their peers and thinks, I don't do any of the cool stuff they do. I'm boring. But remember, you are not boring. You're awesome. You're also probably humble and have a natural gift for identifying and celebrating the talents of others. So what if you haven't been to Spain to experience the true Catalan culture and put your language skills to good use? Who cares if you can't dance on the wing of a plane while founding 14 charities and curing all of the world's ills? Sometimes life's biggest lessons are found in the smallest moments and most humble achievements. Don't put yourself down or hide your talents under a pile of doubt, comparisons, and dirty socks. Give yourself some credit. We know you deserve it. Also, know that life experiences, regardless of what they are not what make a college essay shine. It's the voice and heart of the writer that add the true magic. Don't be negative. A great American poet once said, "No one likes a party pooper." Whether you are talking about a moment of failure or a moment of triumph, a funny story or a sad one, positivity is an essential component of the college essay. As we know you have seen in your academic and extracurricular endeavors, attitude is everything. It is what drives success and, just as importantly, it's what makes people want to be around you. If a situation has some heavy thoughts and consequences related to it, try to also access the bright side of the story. Stay upbeat and deliver an epic dose of can-do. Don't give admissions any reason to doubt your full-on awesomosity. Let's make sure your essay leaves the reader with a feeling that you are the kind of person who would make any day brighter, not darker, and who always looks for the good over the bad. Don't add extra words just to up the word count. This year's Common App suggests you submit an essay of 500 to 650 words. And while you will have to get your story under the 650 mark to fit it in that fun little application text box, you shouldn't feel pressured to hit that upper limit. In fact, 500 to 550 words can be more than enough to tell your story if you follow our earlier tips on being economical with your language. Under no circumstances would we recommend you add words simply to get to 650. Worry about telling your story first. If your word count is clocking in at well under 500, that is when you might want to think about what in your story still remains unsaid. But a story of 579 words is likely doing the job just fine. So is a story of 610 words, or 649. If you feel you have told your tale well, no matter what the final length, you can wear your unique word count as a badge of pride. Don't skip the final edit. So you went on a month-long archaeological dig to excavate memories and milestones for your brainstorms, hunkered down in a subterranean lair to free-write for 72 straight hours, and perform painstaking surgery to pluck the best pieces from those free-writes and arrange them with care. You're done, right? Wrong. There is no substitute for good old-fashioned editing once you have a near-final draft in place. Walk away from your essay for a day or two and come back to it with a fresh pair of eyes. Comb through the essay slowly and methodically, looking for errors your eye learns to skip over. Also, having a trusted advisor scour your essay for final errors is always a good idea. Someone who hasn't memorized your essay, like you probably have, will catch the extra spaces, missing articles, and misused apostrophes that you don't. Is there anything worse than reading your essay just after you've pressed the submit button and realizing a double "and" has made it into your masterpiece? No. No, there isn't. So don't take any chances. Uncover those last pesky typos and polish that essay to a high shine. Don't plagiarize. We don't think we have to say this to you, but we're going to say it anyway. Don't copy other people's work. It's dishonest and it's unethical. Also, it sells you and your talents short. We know you're an interesting and talented person who can write your own college admissions essay. And admissions officers want to read what you have to say. We hope this isn't the case, but if you're even tempted to copy someone else's work, know this. Admissions officers can sense when your work is not your own. In fact, we even suggest you take care to comb for small, unintentional acts of plagiarism before submitting your final draft. Are you sure you attributed all of your information correctly? If you think you might have copied even just a factoid from Wikipedia verbatim, change it. Know with confidence that the work you're submitting is yours and yours alone. So, those are a bunch of things you shouldn't do. And now for all the things you're going to want to do. Do all of these all day long, every day, till the cows come home, till the sun goes down. Do start early. We wouldn't miss our last opportunity to sear this into your brain. The most valuable asset an applicant has in the college essay writing process is time, along with the belief that everyone has a story to tell, of course. Rome wasn't built in a day, and most great college essays are not pulled together in one fretful night, or week even. Starting early allows the time needed to sift through topic ideas, export massive amounts of free writing onto the page, organize and structure your story, and polish, polish, polish. An essay that has time to simmer and cook for a while. One that you can taste and adjust and sample again until you know you have it just right, is going to be much more successful than its ready-in-2 minutes microwavable counterpart. Plus, the process of cooking up a winning essay is much less stressful, dare we even say fun, when you have time on your side. Do organize your work. We have a secret for you. We often leave dishes in the sink for more than 24 hours. Our rooms are reprehensibly messy. We cannot keep track of our keys for the life of us, and we only know where our shoes are because they are laced to our feet. However, when it comes to college essay files, we are hyper, almost criminally organized, and you should be too. It is so important to label your drafts as you work in a way that is systematic and searchable. We recommend labeling things with your essay name, the date, and the version number. For example, a draft of the Common App essay would be labeled like this. If you take a new departure from the story on the same day, make a version 2. This kind of organization will help you enormously as you move forward. And knowing approximately when you created each version is much more helpful when you're looking for some specific detail you've created in the past. Do be sincere. Nothing is less convincing to an admissions officer than a story that feels fabricated or lacks heart. A school is interested in who you are, what you value, and what you will add to their community. You don't need to fake it. Be real. Work with everything you've got, and you've got a lot. Sincerity and truth are going to be some of your most effective personal sales tools. Do brand yourself. We don't just want you to be yourself. We want you to be a deliberate version of yourself. A systematically selected, distilled embodiment of the most amazing you can be. What are you trying to communicate about yourself to admissions? Are you generous? Are you motivated? What is the phrase your admissions officer will attach to you after reading your essay? Are you the graduation speaker? Are you the donut-eating runner? Make sure you are able to boil your message down to something simple and concrete, and that you will leave a quick, deep impression in an admissions officer's mind before you close the computer and call it a day. Do take calculated risks. Note that the word calculated is important here. You need to be able to separate a good risk from a bad one. Telling a story about that time you got caught stealing a carton of ice cream from the supermarket? Probably not a good risk. Stealing is bad, even if ice cream is involved. Writing about the time you challenged your school's administration in defense of a friend? That sounds like it could be a story worth sharing. When it comes to risk-taking in your essay, don't ignore your instincts. Is one of your references too saucy to submit to the admissions board at Yale? If you have to ask, you probably already know. We want you to be creative and dabble outside of your comfort zone, especially during brainstorming and free writing, But don't unnecessarily push your luck, or you'll end up in the rejection pile. Do choose your advisors wisely. College essay writing can be a daunting process, and you are likely going to want to get some advice along the way. That said, there are a few things to consider when choosing who to entrust with your words and your potentially fragile essay writing ego. Consult with people whose advice you trust, but who you also know will give you non-judgmental, constructive feedback. Additionally, stick to 1 or 2 advisors tops. We know it's tempting to send your near final draft to your English teacher and your best friend Aunt Trudy, who once judged a writing competition in 1942, but spare yourself the agony of dumping a million opinions into the pot. Stick with the clear, refreshing advice of 1 or 2 people rather than muddying up the waters. Do listen to your gut. You might not have known it at the start of this series, but you have so many things to say. Furthermore, deep down, you know how you want to say them. Trust what feels right. Reject what feels wrong. When you read through your final essay, does it sound and feel like you? Are you happy with the messages you're communicating? You are the only one who knows the answers to these questions. Trust yourself. When it comes to the subject of you, guess what? You're the expert. Do entertain. We're not saying you have to stuff dinosaurs and hamburger references into every other paragraph of your essay, though that sounds interesting. But you should think about what might make admissions officers smile. Maybe they will be sucked into the momentum of your fast-paced story, or drawn deep into the emotional core of your hyper-personal revelation. Maybe they will simply chuckle aloud at your description of your skateboarding aunt, or smile when they think about the time they took a similar kayaking trip down the river with their fathers. You want a total stranger to come to your essay knowing nothing about you, and leave feeling better acquainted with the person you are and curious about the person you're going to become. And you want them to feel like the 2 or 3 minutes spent reading your essay was time well spent. Do submit to the relatively random nature of the process. At the end of the day, when all the essays are written and all the submit buttons are pressed with the shaky force of your nervous fingers, all that counts is that you have done your best. A huge hunk of the admissions process is determined by a combination of luck and a host of other circumstances that are out of your control. Maybe the school is looking for a tuba player and you just don't play the tuba. So try to relax, craft the best package you can, send your applications off to land on your target school's internet doorsteps, and be proud of yourself. You have written multiple, thoughtful, well-constructed college admissions essays. You have explored the frontiers of self-reflection and searched even the dustiest corners of your brain for crafty ideas, new twists on well-worn subjects, unexpected wordplay, and disarming honesty to reel in your admissions officer and win his or her loyalty and affection. Now, all you can do is cross your fingers and your toes, pray to the ice cream gods, and take what happens in stride. Do call for help. If, after watching this series, you are still staring at a blank page, if you're wondering if your topic is worth its weight in hamburgers, if you're considering whether or not your story structure is strong enough to support your big idea, even if you're just wondering whether or not your overall story will create enough fireworks to hold the attention of an admissions officer for your allotted 2 minutes of admissions essay fame, call us. When we say we're here to help, we're not just blowing smoke. We're literally sitting here in our offices in New York City, waiting to dispense more sage advice via our one-on-one advising services. So email us, call us, send a singing telegram or a smoke signal if you have to, and we will personally extract the winning ideas from your noggin with our magic powers of conversation. Okay, College Essay Academy Masterclass graduate, you did it! Don't forget that you can always rewatch the series for a refresher on the college essay's purpose, process, or mindset. Don't forget to consult your awesome Academy cheat sheets for exercises and quick tips related to each chapter. And remember, you can do this. Grayson knows you can do this. All the College Essay Academy dinos and pandas and Kim Kardashian and your skateboarding aunt and even the inanimate objects in this series like hamburgers and donuts and the glowing embers of your burning questions know you can do this. You know you can do this. You have so many stories worth telling. Now you just have to seize the opportunity, open your computer, and begin your journey to college essay success.